My name is Ms. Burns and I am a coach facilitator. This afternoon I sat down with a couple members of our school community to discuss how we can best help one of our students, Teddy. Teddy is referred to in this report as Student 1. The members that I sat down with were Ms. Patience, the special education teacher, Ms. Frizzle, the general education teacher, and the student's family, which included Kathy, who is Teddy's mom, Phil, who is Teddy's dad, and Danielle, who is Teddy's sister. We focused our discussion using the Coach Planning Tool, Part A. We have set and recorded dates and times for the rest of the coach process. In this meeting, I will share with you what was discussed this afternoon. We started off with a general family interview to see which direction we should take our coach process in. We then came up with additional learning outcomes for Teddy and the general supports that would be needed for Teddy to become successful. The student currently lives with his mom, dad, sister, and a dog in Northeast Portland. Because the student is so young, the family did not see a home now and in the future as something that they would like to focus on this year. But however, strongly like to focus on meaningful relationships. The student is very sweet and very kind, but doesn't tend to go out of his way to interact with same-age peers. He spends most of his time talking either with his family or with his teachers. The family is appreciative that he likes to communicate with his teachers and with his family, but they also think it's really important that he interact with some peers and not just adults throughout his day. In keeping with that same theme, we moved to meaningful activities in various valued places. The family discussed how the student loves to go to the park and he loves to go on hikes, but most of those activities are typically completed with his parents and with his sister and his dog, and not necessarily with same-age peers. So his family would really like to see him, getting invited on more play dates and maybe joining some extracurriculars and doing activities with children his own age. Overall, the family rated meaningful relationships as their top priority, and then keeping in that same theme, they rated meaningful activities as a next priority along with safety and health. And particularly, they feel like he's really healthy and safe physically, but they would like to see him grow emotionally in his ability to connect with same-age peers. The curriculum areas that were focused on during this family interview were communication, socialization, applied academics, and school. Teddy is verbal and is happy to talk to people, but he does have trouble with some basic terms such as the term more or over or under. And sometimes trouble with these basic terms can lead to trouble in him understanding what others are saying or trouble in his own ability to communicate. Something that the family would like us to focus on in school this year is really strengthening those basic terms so that conversations will make more sense. As I've mentioned, socialization was listed as the family's highest priority. We really want to encourage Teddy to initiate social interactions and then maintain those social interactions once he has initiated them. Academics has been listed as another priority for this year. Teddy is already receiving resource room services where he practices reading mastery through direct instruction 4 to 5 times a week for 30 minutes a day. He's working on reading and decoding words and phrases and understanding what these words mean once he's decoded them. He's also working on learning to write letters and words and to spell them correctly using letter-sound correspondences. It should absolutely be noted that Teddy's mom frequently comes into the resource room setting and works with the resource room teacher to learn strategies that she can use at home with Teddy. So she is trying to use the same strategies we use at school at home so she can further help his learning. School was selected as a category mainly because the family felt this category would help Teddy to make same-age peers. Some things that we want to encourage Teddy to do throughout the school day are to participate in large groups, to be able to complete tasks and assignments independently, and to participate in extracurricular activities. So this, from the family's perspective, might look like signing him up for extracurriculars, and from our perspective might look like making sure to encourage him to play with the other kids on the playground and at lunch. This prioritization for him helps us to really clearly see the things that we've identified as important for this school year for this student. Take a second to read over what's in the communication, socialization, applied academics, and school boxes. And you can always feel free to pause if you need more time reading. I worked with the family, the gen ed teacher, and the special ed teacher to convert the priority learning outcomes into students will be able to statements that can be used in the student's daily aim. The first example is participates in large groups can more specifically look like student will be able to raise their hand to ask and answer questions in class. Many of the priorities are included in the student's IEP for the year. Finally, we talked about additional learning outcomes from the general education curriculum. The student can participate in all parts of his school day. However, he might have to have slightly different expectations for some subject areas. Particularly in math, the student will need to focus on learning to count up to 100 and to add and subtract. He also needs to focus on learning how to read, write, and solve number sentences up to 20. In science and social studies, the student should focus mainly on his IEP goal of making friends with same-aged peers. He should be given lots of opportunities for group work. This will conclude our time together. Please send me an email if you have any additional questions. Thank you and have a nice day.